Hey everyone, Caleb with Antique Book Collective, and today I'm going to get to you guys with another walkthrough video. So this is one of the ones that is going to be premiering, so you guys can, I think it's going to be on that side. Could be on that side, I don't remember for sure. If you're on computer though, that is going to be where the live chat is. If you guys are on your phones or mobile devices, that's down there that you guys can do the live chat. That's just a random Q&A that you guys can ask whatever questions you want as you guys are watching along as I go through today's various searches and look for what I will be hitting this weekend. So I'm really excited about what I already did because I'm recording this after I found everything, and it's, again guys, some really cool stuff, and I am excited for this weekend. And with all that said, I am also going to say that I'm recording this on Thursday, and guys, I had a pretty stinking good Thursday. I listed, in fact I just finished listing. Here's my scale right here, and down here I got some of the boxes that I use, and I just finished listing. I listed over $1,000 worth of stuff, and I'm going to continue listing because I have a stack of stuff to list still down here, and I got several things to list up there still. So it's a list heavy day for me. I'm listing a ton of stuff, and again guys, it's been over $1,000, and it's probably going to end the day probably just looking really quick. It's probably going to end the day. I'm going to list over $2,000 worth of stuff, possibly as much as $3,000 worth of stuff, since some of the things I have are pretty valuable. So with all that said and done, I'm going to dive right on into the screen share. Alright, so now we are on the interweb, so just booksalefinder.com, as I always say, that's like where I like to start. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually not even going to open Oregon because I already looked at it. There's nothing going on in Oregon. Well, actually that's not entirely true. There's one book sale going on in Oregon for me, and that's down in a city called Ruch, I believe it's how you pronounce it. It's R-U-C-H. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but that's all the way down by the California border. I'm not going down to California this weekend. I mean, I will be going down there in a month-ish, but not this weekend. So with that said, there are some book sales going on in Washington, so I'm going to hop on over to that. So as you can see, we are on the Washington side of things for book sales, and there are 3 going on. So one of them is Woodland, one is Battleground, one is Bainbridge Island. Bainbridge Island is just outside of Seattle. I have basically sworn to myself I'm never going back there again because the traffic in Seattle is horrible. The people there are mean. They're not quite as mean as Portlanders all the time, but they definitely can be, so I have no intention of even going by Seattle. But maybe Bainbridge Island is a little bit nicer than Seattle. I don't know. I'm not going to check it out. And it's a long drive from where I live all the way up to Seattle area, and all the traffic again, guys, so I'm not going to go there. But Woodland and Battleground are actually both basically right next to me. So Woodland is just a couple miles north and west of Battleground, so that works very well for me. So I'm probably going to be hitting these 2 places. So with that said, I'm just going to hop on down to Woodland. So Woodland, as you guys can see, it's not white like this one. It has the nice little color on it. And that is what you get when you are a Friends of the Library sale or something, and you are paying extra money to get your books, your sale, extra advertised. So as you guys can see here, they just tell you a little bit about the stuff, and tells you where it is, and it tells you the times. So I have to go there either Friday or Saturday. Odds are I'm going to be going Saturday because of the estate sales that I have already scouted out, because I wanted to scout this stuff out ahead of time for you guys. So with that said, it says they have 5,000 books. As I like to always say, is they always tend to undercut how many books they actually have. So I would not be surprised if they had 8,000 books or more at this particular sale. It says all donated, which is really good news for us guys. So all donated means there are no ex-library books. And there are some people that are book resellers like us, and they don't like ex-library books. So it works very well for it to be all donated, because again, that means there's no ex-libraries, or probably almost none. So that's really nice. And 30% hardcover. That's a little bit of a bummer for me, believe it or not, because hardcovers generally are antique books. So to see that there's only 30% tells me that there's either a whole lot of mass market paperbacks or just a whole lot of just normal paperbacks. And again, guys, those are not always antique books. So that is a little bit of a bummer to me. But if we skip down to this part, it says ranges from 25 cents to $1. I think I can afford that. And not gonna lie, if it's just 25 cents to $1, I might end up buying a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't buy, and will probably end up selling onto my store. Sorry, brain fart. But yeah, this is really nice stuff for me. I'm really excited for this one, so I'm definitely going to be going to this Woodland one, and I'm just going to scroll all the way up to Battleground, Here we go. So Battleground, it's just on the other side of Vancouver. So I live in Gresham, and then you have Vancouver, and then you have Battleground. So I think for you guys, it's actually like this. And that is going to be a pretty easy drive for me, not too worried. I don't know if I've ever actually been to Woodland, so that's going to be interesting to check out, but I have been to Battleground quite a few times. So as you can see here, it doesn't say anything specific about their sale, but from what I know about the sale, I haven't been there as far as I know, but what I know about the sale is it's not a small one by any means. I think they do it monthly or something like that. It's a pretty common sale, but from what I've heard from a couple of people is it's pretty stinking good. So that is Saturday, 10 to 2. 10 to 2 means that I probably am not going to have a whole lot of time to fiddle around, to ditz around. I got 4 hours to get there, get my books, and get out. And I'm going to skip right back on down to Woodland. So that one is 10 to 2 as well on Saturday. So that does definitely crunch me for time, and that is something I definitely need to consider. So, as I always do, guys, got my sticky notes, and I'm just going to write 10 to 2. And I'm going to say for both Friends of Library sales. So for both book sales, and then with that said and done, I'm going to set that one sticky note aside, and I'm going to write Woodland so I know where that one is, and also Battleground. Nice and simple. And now I know for a fact that those are written down. And again, guys, there is a sale going on in Oregon, and of course there are all of the ongoing Friends of the Library sales where they have their own stores, but those aren't always the most appealing to me. So with that said, I'm exiting out of that one, and we are on to estatesales.net. The reason why I'm not checking estatesales.org this weekend is because I've already checked it, and I've already checked it for around me and around Vancouver. Not too much of a difference in distance, but I still wanted to check both just to be on the safe side. There was one cool sale that I will not be doing, and that one is actually a bidding. It is for, let me just see if I can find it. Here we go. It's for the Moala one right here. So it's bidding, and because of that, I actually was this close to starting bidding on it, but because of how their bidding is going for this particular one, I'm not going to go to this one. But they did have a couple cool things at that one. But again, guys, I'm not going to that one. So I checked out these other sales that are going on. And of course, I'm not doing the Portland ones because I'm not going to Portland. But I found these two. So the beautiful 7,100 square foot home, and this one here, which is absolute stunner of an estate sale. So both of these were pretty neat to me. However, I'm not going to go to one, and I probably am going to go to the other. So this is the one I'm probably going to go to, and I'm going to show off this one first, though, just to show you guys what my kind of thinking is. So first off, we're looking at a nice house. So for me, nice house means two things, and generally it only means two things. It either means the person has a few, like a very few, really nice books, or they don't have any books at all. What I have found is that a lot of people that have the really nice houses, they don't have a very large library. And those that do, you can tell by their house that they are library people. I don't know how. It's just something you guys will eventually put together, but you could tell when you look at a house if it's a library person or not. So this one, I looked at this house and I'm like, just from the front picture, I don't think this person has a big library. And then I scrolled down a little bit, looked at the landscaping, not a big indicator there, but then I saw all the couches and whatnot. I'm like, okay, this person definitely is not a big library person. They might have a couple books, but probably not. And I was pretty confident they wouldn't have anything, and I went all the way through, and I ended up finding no books, which, again, guys, wasn't very surprising because I've been doing this for a few years. If anything, these two things might be books. Potentially, but I don't think 2 books is worth my time to go to, especially not those, because those did not look like antique books. So I'm sure that there's other things that were not pictured on this particular estate sale, but if you guys remember, I already said that I'm going to be rather crunched for time, so I'm probably not going to be going to this one because I only have 4 hours to hit the 2 different Friends of Library sales, and this is going on around the same time as that one, so this is 10 to 3 instead of 10 to 2, so it doesn't work great for me. But this other one, this absolute stunner one, right on the front page, we got 2 books. So the one on the bottom does not look particularly old to me. It looks like it's most likely an 80s reprint one that's made to look like old books. But the one on top of it definitely does look a lot older to me. So that was rather exciting from the get-go. And with that said, let's just scroll on down. Here's the actual photo of it. So it doesn't look like it's a good enough photo for me to actually look at the title and see the title. But I am going to say, if you guys look at this leather here on the edge, it does look like it's definitely an older book. Then when you have the leather and it's like folding over the book like this, and when it's obviously not a hardcover, but it's like just literally just leather holding the book, that is normally a good indicator that's probably a turn of the century book, or even like back to like the 1800s. I'm not guaranteeing that's when this book is from, but that is probably my guess would be like 1906 probably. So if I go to this one, I will definitely get you guys with the actual year on that one, because that'll be interesting to see if I was right. In fact, I'm going to write that down. 1906 leather book, question mark. Now I'll remember for you guys. All right, on to the next thing. Sorry, I dropped my sticky notes there. We got a few more books. So these books look like they are early 1900s to me. So not thrilling, but definitely not let down, because those will definitely be worth checking out. A little further, so we got some Jack London books. Jack London is a pretty popular author. He wrote White Fang, I believe it was, which is a pretty popular book. And in fact, here we go. It actually looks like it's omnibuses of each one while being a box set. So one of them is, in fact, White Fang. And again, that's what he's probably most well known for among most people, but he does have a lot of other popular books. So that particular set will definitely be worth checking out. In fact, I'm just going to look it up really quick. So bound and boned leather, and it's Jack London. So Jack London, oh, I spelled Jack wrong, sorry guys. Jack London box set, boned leather. I'm just going to type that in just because I'm sure there's a lot of box sets, so I'm going to hope that this is what we need to get narrowed down a little bit. Maybe not. Let's just see a little bit more. So I'm going to get rid of the boned leather and type in Castle, because Castle is, it looks like that's what the publisher is on the bottom there. So Castle. All right, again, we don't have any exact matches, but here we go. Here's this particular set, $251. Excuse me. Ugh, drop my pencil. All right, so $251. That is definitely a good price as far as I'm concerned. So that'll definitely be worth checking out. So I'm going to write down Jack London box set, and I'm going to write $250 on it just so I know that is the price that it's going to be most likely. I'm probably not going to charge that much in the end, because again, it looks like that's the only one, unless if we're comparing against Legos. But that does look like that's the only one that we're looking at there, so that's pretty exciting. That's a pretty cool set for me, so gonna keep on scrolling down a little bit more. And because this is out in Battleground, I'm assuming that there's probably not going to be a whole lot of people there, which means that I might be able to get some filming done for you guys so I can actually show you me actually going to this particular one. Again, I'm not going to film if there are a lot of people there, but I definitely might be. So next thing, so we have these two books here. These two books are definitely older books. I can tell that just by looking at them. But I actually looked them both up on eBay, and I could not find any of these particular books. However, I did, if you look down here, Women's Institute. So I just went on over to eBay and I typed in Women's Institute book. And this was, of course, something I typed in after I typed in the title for both, and I typed in the title and Women's Institute, all that sort of stuff. I ended up just doing Women's Institute. And here we go. Here's one book. And this is obviously not the same book. It is on textiles, lace. We have one further on, this one here for $6. This one's clearly chewed up, so I don't know if it's a good comp, but we have another comp for $20, one for $40. So we definitely do see that there are quite a few. Here's a set of 3 for $60. So I would say the average price for these is about $20 each. And again, guys, this is just me running comps as I'm doing this. And again, we cannot find these particular 2 books, but we do know that the Women's Institute books, there are ones out there, and those ones are on average for one similar condition about $20, which is pretty stinking neat. Since there are 2 of them, I probably would pick these up if I went to this sale, especially if they were a good price. And as you guys know, my average low-end price is usually $35. I might go down to $25, but because this is a set of books, I would sell it as a set. I might sell it for $40, and $40 is worth it in my book. So scrolling down a little further, excuse me, got an itch, a little bit further, and we got a few children's books about, looks like old cartoons, which is pretty neat. I have never actually seen these before, so they might be worth something. I'm not going to be checking them on eBay right now, but here are some more books. So it looks like here we have some price tags, yellow price tags, which, as I've said in the past, is a bad sign for me. It shows that the people actually took the time to individually price different books. Sometimes their price tags leave horrible scars on the books as well, so that is not great, but it is definitely something that I won't not go to this place for just because of that, because they do have a lot of books, as you guys can see here. So these 3 books here on this right side look like they are older, and then on the top left we have a few that look like they're older, but besides that, all these books look a lot newer to me and probably would not be worth checking out on their own, except for this little slipcase of books down here. So that shelf is not the most exciting, but it is definitely not terrible. So with all that said and done, guys, this is probably going to be the shortest one of these that I've done for a little while, of these work with me videos, but that is literally all that I'm going to be looking at this particular weekend. So again, guys, what I'm going to write down for this estate sale is I'm going to write down the title, I'm going to write down the address. As you guys can see, I don't get the address just yet, but I will get it by the time that I am leaving for it. And as you can see, I have the dates that it's available and the times. I will write that down as well. And I have already written down the books that I'm interested in. I would say I'm going to get, if I go to this sale, I'm going to get about $400 worth in sales. So 400 plus-ish of sales. Not terrible, but definitely not the most thrilling out there. And 400, I would say, is probably rather conservative if those Jack London books are worth $250. So with all that said and done, guys, this is a pretty cool one, and again, I'm really excited about those Friends of the Library sales because I've been meaning to go to these and I never have, so this will be my first time going to these. So with all that said and done, thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to see you guys on the big screen in a little bit. Alright guys, so that was all the things that I'm going to hit this weekend, most likely at least. I know for a fact that I will be hitting these Friends of the Library sales because they are really exciting to me. I got them on the sticky note right here. The estate sale is a little more iffy. With the hours that it's doing, I probably can hit it because I will have 2 hours after the sales, and it's not very far to drive all the areas around Vancouver, so I can definitely hit those things if I want to. If I have time to burn, I could probably check out Craigslist and just drive around the Vancouver area to see if there's any more stuff for me to hit. And guys, as I've said before, there is a Goodwill outlet in Vancouver. I've gotten some really good sets of books in that particular Goodwill outlet, so I might even go to Goodwill outlet. I will be I'm looking, guys, at getting a GoPro so I can actually take you guys along a lot easier than the big old camera that I've been starting to use, because this camera that I'm using right now has a lot better quality than what I have been using on my laptop. But with all that said, you guys don't really care too much about that, so let me just dive right back on into all the other stuff about listings. So guys, I know I've said this before, but when you guys are doing your listing, you can do it really stinking fast. So I do it on my phone. I take the pictures. Do not list on your phones. When you list on your phones, it burns a whole lot of time that you guys do not need to burn. You guys will have to click a whole lot more buttons. You'll make a lot more mistakes. Trust me, guys, when you are listing your books, do it on a stinking laptop. You can buy laptops dirt cheap, like a Chromebook. You can get those. You can even buy used ones for all I care, but you guys need to do this on a laptop. There are a lot of things that you cannot do on your phone, or at least it's really hard to do on your phone. So just listing on your laptops will save you a whole lot of time. Something that I highly recommend for new people to eBay is do not do batches of work. I mean, when you guys are doing this, literally grab your book, take the pictures, look through the book, and then as you're doing all that, take the book over, sit down with the book, and do your listing. I have my laptop right here, so it's my prop. And do all your listing for one book at a time. However, once you guys have done this for a while, you can do batches of this work. So for me, I literally, for the books that I just listed, I listed probably 40 some books. Last night I did another 30 probably, and I did those all in giant batches of things. So I took a bunch of pictures all from the get-go, then I put it up onto Google Drive. So I took it from my phone onto Google Photos, and then I took it from Google Photos onto my laptop. I downloaded it, then I extracted it, and then I put it onto onto eBay, and I made all my listings. And again, guys, even though I've been doing this for so long, I actually had these books in front of me as I was making these listings. This is something that you guys will need to do as well, because books are not like a lot of the other things that people list. These are things that you actually have to look at as you are doing your listings. So for me, I would list off, hey, this book here has a little tear. It has a little tear in the spine. It's got a few little smudges on the cover. It looks pretty good. And then something I like to do, guys, is I open up the front cover like a 90-degree angle like this, so I can compare the front front cover color to the spine's color. When you get some older books, the spine color will actually be different than the front cover because of what the sun does to it as it ages. So I'm actually going to, excuse me for a bit. Here's a book that I've shown you guys before, but haven't shown it on this nice camera. So as you guys can see, here's the cover, here's the spine. The spine is not the same color, and that is because the sun discolors the stuff. And that is something that you guys will be listing off when you're doing your listings. You guys want to be telling everyone about the entire description of these books. I would be talking about, hey, there's some writing in this book. I don't know if I would include this, but I might include this little weird receipt thing because it looks like it's Asian inspired. Definitely looks like Chinese artwork, which is pretty neat. But that is something I could consider. And then I would talk about the maps, I would talk about all the different things in this book, and I would talk about the book. Like, obviously, guys, that's what you want to do. And it's a lot easier to do when you're doing it with the book in hand as opposed to just doing it from memory with these books. A good thing about having them on hand is it just jogs your memory. And if you're like, oh, I don't remember if there was writing in this book, you can literally just open it up, spin through it, and be like, oh, yeah, no writing. And it's really simple, guys. So once again, when you guys are brand new to this, you're going to take a little bit longer because you're learning the ropes. But once you guys have done this for a long time, you can definitely speed up your process by batching your things. That is what a lot of professional eBayers recommend people do, is take a whole bunch of photos, then just have them all on your computer or whatever. And then as you get the time, make your entire listing, or have a whole bunch of books like, or whatever else you have listed, have them all ready to submit but don't have them submitted yet. There's a lot of different reasons to doing this, a lot of different ways. There are benefits to all the different ways. Guys, I recommend personally, and this is something a lot of other people recommend, but they recommend to list consistently. So preferably, a lot of them say try to list like at least 10 to 30 a day. Some people say 100 a day, all that sort of stuff. For me, I like to do like one a day-ish, or I have giant spurt days where I do a whole bunch of listings, such as today, where I've done already over $1,000 worth of stuff, and I will be doing potentially another $2,000 worth of stuff. It really varies on how you want to do it. For me, and from what I've heard about a lot of their sellers, they find that when they list consistently, it really does help their sales. However, if you guys don't have the time to do this, maybe you can do what I do and just have those batch days. However, there is a definite benefit to just doing a couple listings a day, because when you have that, you have a consistent amount of traffic. When you have the batch days, you get a big peak in traffic and then it just dies off. So that is the big reason for why they say to do it all consistently. So with all that said and done, guys, I hope this really helped you guys. I hope that I inspired you guys to get along and list your books as well, because when you guys get $1,000 worth of stuff listed, that's $1,000 worth of stuff that can now sell, and it's not just sitting there collecting dust and potentially getting eaten by mice. So with all that said and done, guys, I hope this helps. Hope to see you guys in another video. Be sure to check out my subscribe button. Be sure to check it out. Just a little click, if you guys know what I mean. Just give it a little click, come on. And be sure to check out one of my other videos, and I will see you guys in the next one.